I mean, you really can't go past those indications. They're absolutely fantastic. Good stuff. And again, you know what we're doing now? We're starting to get it. We've got a good run happening. We've had 2 or 3 races in a row, and we're making some really good selections. We've got a window of opportunity that is second to none, and we should be taking advantage of that time and buggering off. And, you know, you could have squeezed a game of golf in this afternoon, Gary.
Had I known, I would have. Yeah.
Okay, now what was your next one?
Next one was race 3, Rose Hill. Oh, you've got me upset now because it's such a beautiful day here.
It's a beautiful day, isn't it?
Could have been
Don't forget, I'm only 15 k's up the road, mate. not even that, I don't think. It's only about 8 kilometres anyway.
Oh, 6, I think.
Yep, there you go. So the next one was Doomben, did you say?
No, next one was Rose Hill.
Right.
I had race 3, Rose Hill. Sorry, I had number 9 and number 10.
Number 9
I
and
had,
number 10.
Disco and Gypsy. I tried Gypsy Google. It was a bit of a long one, but I thought I'll give it a run.
You know what, I can totally appreciate. Yep, I can absolutely 100% appreciate exactly why you've done that. Now, just for the rest of you, if you don't mind, Gary, if I can sort of break this down and sort of analyse what you did and why you've done it and explain the methodology behind that. You know, really we've only got 2 runners in this whole race that have got good indications across all 3 TABs, right? One of them is on the number 9, the other one of them is on the number 10. When you have a look at the ratings down the bottom, you know, and mind you, just very quickly while we're on this, now some of you might be sort of saying, what about the number 5, right? The number 5 has got itself a good rating because of some of the indications that have happened on it and things like that, but it certainly shouldn't be that good. And when you have a look at that line of data, there is absolutely not one single home TAB indication in that race. None. So that, for me, makes that an absolute no bet, right? There are no home TAB indications in that race where there are home TAB indications on other things. We've got great money behind these colours here. We've got, say, $3,060, which is a margin more than the runner above it in the order of favouritism. So that is actually back out of kilter with what's happening in that race. So we've got good, strong colour across those 3 TABs. And then we have a look at the number 10, and we've got good, strong colour across those 3 TABs as well. So I wouldn't say necessarily strong colour, but it is the only other one that we do have consistency across the 3 TABs. So fantastic selection, because what you've done there is you've actually identified that, hey, look, if I go with one, I'm probably going to miss out on the other. If I go with the other one, I'm probably going to miss out on the other one. The only thing that you can do in that race is to take them both each way or to use a multiple, which I was much happier today with running through the auto for the demonstrations and things like that, just for the simple reason of just the momentum that today was offering. It was absolutely fantastic. So again, Gary, I can hear pennies dropping 10 to the dozen, mate. That's fantastic. And that was pretty much it, wasn't it?
Yeah, the wheels, unfortunately.
Sorry?
Yeah, well, after that, the wheels fell off a little bit. I've had 4 more trades, and only one of them has got a result.
Right.
But I thought the colours, I thought the indications were good on them, so I'd be interested to see what.
All right, well, please give me an idea of where to go next, and then we'll go through and have a look, because I'm sure that really, you know, you're speaking for a lot of people, I'm sure, today, Gary, and no doubt there's a lot of people who probably are very interested in this conversation, you know, purely from the fact that, you know, like we've all done the same training, we've all got the same data, we've all got the same program. And by the way, I think that I put in the group chat today, I said that my number 1 standout tip for the day at Caulfield is race 6, predatory price, and it just won at about $12. There you go, folks. Under the radar is always another feather in the cap to keep an eye on. But what was your next race there, Gary?
Next one, Kevin, was race 3, Morfordville, number 5, Lego Azura.
Okay. Yep. Okay, yep, I do have lots to say about this race, right, and as you would have thought. Firstly, we've got a favourite, which is the highest rated runner by a country mile. It's rated at 82 points. It's the one with all the fantastic indications. It's the one with the absolute standout amounts of money. We've got a rise and flow of betting from 25 minutes at $4.63 up to over $6,000 at the 10-minute mark. We've got a $12,000 dump at the 0-second. We've got the number 6, Point Dancer, which also looks great at minus 30 seconds. We've got the number 5, which looks great at minus 30 seconds. Really what you've done is there is, you know, and it's a common mistake. But the whole thing is with mistakes is that we learn from them and we move on and we don't do them again. Don't back against the favourite, which is the absolute strongest rated runner in the race, because it is our #1 pick. In terms of the best indications in that race, the favourite has got them in terms of both the rise and fall in the flow of money. So, you know, like going up from 311 to 4,000 in 60 seconds, for instance. It's got some really large, substantial bets that have been made on it, and it's also clearly the highest rated runner, and we should never take an each way bet against the highest rated runner in any race that we look at. So I hope that makes some sense.
Yes, it does.
Good. Fantastic.
Yep.
All right, in a race like that, what I'm much happier to do is I'll never take a favourite just on its own. I know that some of you might. I don't take a favourite on its own. I'm actually much happier to do that, push F4 and take 63%, because you know, it's taken your #5 there, Gary. It has taken that into account, but then it's also taken that high-rated favourite as well. So you're really covering yourself, and it's taking a bit of insurance.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Understood.
The next one.
Okay. Next one was 4 at Doomben, race 4 at Doomben, #3. Sweepstaking. I actually got a result there.
Look, it did. It was an odds-on race, though, right? And you are looking at $1.80 there, and I'll just so that I can clarify for you and make sure that I'm not acting just on the last dividend that came in. You know, it was $1.70, $1.80, $1.90, $1.80, $1.80, $1.90, $1.80. Not once was it over $2. So that favourite is an odds-on favourite, and we can't back against odds-on favourites. And so, do you start to see what I mean? Like when you would have been thinking of all of this when you first jumped in. You would have been thinking, you would have been looking at all these things, and then after an hour or an hour and a half of sitting in front of it and things, all of a sudden we can start to make some really simple little mistakes that we wouldn't have made an hour beforehand.
Yep, fair comment. Although we did get a result.
We got a result, right? It was a very skinny result at that. I mean, I'm going back and I'm having a look in the place pool at the moment now, just so that I can clarify for you again. You know, I can see the place dividends all the way from 5 minutes down. Not at any stage of the game was that runner ever going to be anything that would have been close to any sort of $2 mark. Again, like, you know, like if it was absolutely there on its own and there was none of this colour everywhere else and the favourite wasn't odds on and things like that, I would have said, yep, for sure, I'll sacrifice 50 cents and I'll take 50% on that place return. Being that we're backing each way, it's always going to be a little bit less than 50% or a little bit less than the percentage we're going to get back off that place. But really, it was always a bit skinny. It always looked like just that second best backed runner in the race. Backed quite heavily each way, shortened up quite firmly for the place, still held on to a reasonably high win dividend, so that tells me that the win money that's come in for that runner isn't 100% confident win money, that it's more so each way money in a race where they didn't want to back an odds-on favourite. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Good.
Yep. Next one was 5 Rose Hill, #2 Triple Honour.
Did you say race 4 at Rose Hill?
No, race 5. Kevin.
Race 5. Okay, sorry about that.
Yeah.
Race
By
5.
the way,
yes?
I wouldn't have not stayed here as long as this. It's just I was waiting for the webinar.
Yeah, no, look, I can totally appreciate that. I can absolutely totally appreciate it. It's sort of one of those things almost sometimes, though, like if somebody says, look, I probably wouldn't have hung around this long, but I knew that 3 o'clock was still an hour away and surely there would have been other things to come. So once you've sort of got a good percentage of profit on your turnover and things like that, because I'll tell you what, in those first 4 trades, mate, if you were outlaying at 20 and 100, you'd be jumping over the moon right now. Absolutely jumping over the moon. So the thing is, what it comes down to is, you know, okay, when do we call enough? And for me, when I call enough, when I'm each way trading is when I've had 2 losses. That's it. If I have 2 consecutive losses, and I can feel like that things are just not going the way that they should be. And admittedly, too, if you go back and look at some of the races, there's almost like a time that we can start to see where, you know, the first indications that you jumped on and that everybody else would have jumped on as well were really clear. They were the only ones that were there. There was nothing else that confused the issue. Then if we start to look back at some of these other ones, we can see these little reasons. Okay, there's more than one runner. There's really strong rated favourites and odds on favourites and things like that. So that would have been a bit of a quiet period of time. That would have been a good